Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach in Baltimore. Jim Goodman back at Keeneland headquarters, where he is the Director of Wagering Development. And we're going to take a look at the all-stakes pick four that culminates with the Grade 1 Preakness, middle leg of the Triple Crown. Should also tell you that it's a great card, and they are expecting to keep the grass races on the grass, certainly the stakes, despite all the rain here in Baltimore. So you've got the Grade 2 Dixie as the seventh race, where you've got Devisa Darrow and World Approval. You've got My Toll. It looks like he could be anything in the Chick Lang, which is the eighth race. So some really good spots to consider on Saturday. But, Jim, let's jump right into the 10th race, which starts the late pick four. It's the Maryland Sprint Championship for 3 and up at 6 furlongs. Where did you land here?
Well, the sloppy track is going to come into play here with all the rain in Baltimore. I hope you got your raincoat with you.
I do.
Yeah, Long Haul Bay is going to be the favorite, I think, on the outside for Chad Brown, but he hasn't done anything on a wet track yet. He's got a good Tomlinson number at 406, so probably has every indication out of Quality Road that he'll handle the slop, but he hasn't done it yet. So I'm going to go with Switzerland in here that has handled a sloppy track and a good track at Oaklawn last time out with 100 buyer. He's on a three-race win streak with top buyer of 100 and a couple in the mid-90s. So he's a proven commodity on the off-track. Steve Asmussen goes to his number one rider, Santana. So I'm going to take Switzerland, a little bit of an upset here over Long Haul Bay. Also going to use a long shot in here to hit the try. A horse called Heartwood that's coming out of a Churchill race and ran well at Keeneland on a sloppy racetrack and won an optional $100,000 race back in April for Jimmy Chapman. He ships him up there from the Thoroughbred Training Center here in Lexington and to run on Preakness Day. And even though he looks like he's a little overclassed here, they did give $500,000 for this horse, and Giroux takes the mount. So I think Heartwood's got a shot at a 15-1 morning line. And then the other horse that I like is Lewisfield for Boca Chica, only rider he's ever had. He's coming out of Laurel with a win streak. He's won 5 of the last 6. He's won some big races, 5 out of 7. He's beaten horses by a ton, so taking a big step up in class here, but I think he's got a shot at 7-2. But my pick for the Maryland Sprint is Switzerland, the 5-horse.
I took Long Haul Bay in here because of Chad Brown and also that big buyer jump in the first start off the layoff. But I think you make a great point about Heartwood. He was really impressive, both visually and numbers-wise, in his win in the slop at Keeneland about midway through the meet, and I really kind of kicked myself for not having him that day. I think at 13-1, and the best play in here, the best way to play this within the race might be to key on him and use Switzerland and Long Haul Bay, and if you can get Heartwood first or second, there's a good chance one of those other two is going to be in the exacta with him, and it'll pay a lot better than if those two favorites are matched up in it. Fellowship was the other one that I put on my list here. But it's not a strong opinion. I like those other three, Long Haul Bay, Switzerland, and Heartwood a lot, and we'll key on those three, I think, when it comes time to the pick four. Let's move on to the next race, which is the only turf race in the sequence. They've changed this up from what they normally do on Preakness Day. This is the turf sprint, the very one for fillies and mares going 5 furlongs. I went to Smiling Causeway, the 9. Delacour's 35% off this kind of layoff, and he's usually good on this big day here in his home area. The horse is training great, but no strong opinion here. Girl Knows Best couldn't have been more impressive at Keeneland, so you got to use her. Just Talking has kept pace with her down in Florida, so I would like that one. I think the one horse Chantilane beat Triple Chelsea back on December 2nd, so that caught my eye. And then Booze, the 8, Goldberg's very good off, Alan Goldberg very good off the layoff. So I'll use all 5 of those when it comes time to the pick 4, and you could even talk me into an all on this when we talk about our pick 4 ticket. But for the win pick, I'm going Smiling Causeway in the very one. How about you?
Yeah, I think this one is one that you need to spread on, but I settled on the same 4 horses, the first 4 that you named. My top pick would probably be Just Talking from the outside for Jason Service. I really like that last race at 5 furlongs at Gulfstream, and the outside post is a question here, but she ran right behind Girls Know Best 3 races back. She's improved since then. She jumped her buyer 10 points next time and then came back with a 93. and won that race going away at Gulfstream. So I like Just Talking here, but I can certainly make a case for your horse, the 11 Smiling Causeway, for Delacour, for the one horse Chanteline for Steve Asmussen, and Girls Knows Best is probably going to be the favorite off that yielding turf course win at Keeneland. So she's shown that she can handle the soft turf very well, and it's definitely going to be a soft turf if they are on the turf. The other thing I will look at here, if you're handicapping on Saturday morning, take a look at it, because I don't think there's any guarantee that these races are all going to be on there. This one is in the pick 4 sequence. They're going to try to keep it on there, but just in case, I would look at Anna's Bandit, the 4, Angel at War, the 5, and Jessica Krumpnick, the 6. They're all 20 or 30 to 1, but that's based on their turf form. And if you look at their dirt form, they are as good, if not better, than these really classy turf fillies and mares if it changes to the dirt. So changes to dirt, it becomes a completely different race. Let's hope it stays on the turf, and I'm going to go with Just Talking on the outside of the 12 horse.
12th race is the Sir Barton for 3-year-olds at a mile on the 16th. This has at times been a prep for the Belmont. There are several horses that are cross-entered in a turf race for 3-year-olds earlier on the card, the Murphy. So watch for scratches in here. Probably a big favorite in Axeman. You're going to try to beat him?
I think Axeman is going to be the big favorite, but the one variable in here is that none of these horses have run on a wet track, except for California Night, which is going to be a notch below the better ones, even though he comes out of the bluegrass. He was never competitive there, went off at 106 to 1. So I think Pony Up is going to be one of the favorites for Pletcher's coming out of Lexington. They tried every way they could to get this horse into the Derby, running him in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, and barely got nipped by Blended Citizen, and My Boy Jack ran him down in the Lexington. So Pony Up in a class standpoint has got to be one of the favorites here. But I could also use Forest Fire, the 1 for John Service, picking up Louis Saez, a huge boost up over Basono and the jockey colony. So Louis Saez picking that up for John Service makes me look at that horse. Axeman's going to be either the favorite or second choice coming out of California. Dream Baby Dream, the 6, coming out of the Arkansas Derby, I think has got a shot here. Ran second in the Sunland Derby to Runaway Ghost, and ran behind Magnum Moon and Quip and Solomini in the Arkansas Derby. So Dream Baby Dream has got a shot. And Asmussen puts Santana on this one. Title Ready is his other horse, and Jose Ortiz is, I guess, his second rider here, which is not a bad second team. So I think Title Ready also has a shot. So I'm going to go deep in the pick 4 here. But I guess a very lukewarm favorite for me is Pony Up.
I end up going to Axeman for Baffert. This looks like one of those beer money horses he always talks about, where he brings extra horses on the plane when he's going to a big race. So I like Axeman, but I'll spread into pick 4 just because I don't think he's a sure thing. Dream Baby Dream, I'm going to use Prince Lucky, making the second start for Pletcher, could improve. Forest Fire down on the rail for John Service, an improving horse. I'm going to throw that one in there on the local angle, and I'm going to use Pony Up. Didn't include Title Ready, but if I went one more deep, that would be the other one. That gets us to the Preakness, and Grade 1 at a mile and 3/16, culminating this late pick 4. And I'm going to use 2 horses. I'm going to use the Bluegrass winner, Good Magic, and the Derby winner, Justify. And my pick is Justify. I can't find any reason to pick against him. Seemingly the training well, had that little issue with the bruised hoof, but seemingly doing well. If he wins this, as I think he will, I'm at the moment would not think he's a sure thing for the Belmont. I thought American Pharoah was, and I think this horse is going to face a tougher challenge in the Belmont if he gets by the Preakness, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. I think what you try to do is see if you can find some value and try to see if Good Magic doesn't run second, who could run second at a bit of a price. And I thought Lone Sailor was one that was interesting. There's a stat that I saw that in the last 5 years, a horse has come from last to finish second or third in the Preakness. So somebody's come from last to hit the board. It was senior investment last year for Kenny McPeak. Lone Sailor should be last and should be the only closer in here. And I think Justify could break the hearts of some that try to go with him. So I'm going to play around with Lone Sailor in a try or a superfecta or something, but not certainly for a win. For the pick 4, I'm going to use Justify and Good Magic. How do you see the Preakness?
Well, you seem pretty certain that Lone Sailor is going to be last first call. Maybe we ought to have some bets inside the race, like we're in Vegas, to
there you go.
To spice it up a little bit. Justify is going to be my pick as well. I can't see anything that he did wrong in the Derby. He did get a perfect trip, but he got a perfect trip because he's quick out of the gate, and Mike Smith really got him out, set him on a 45 pace, and when a really good horse, Good Magic, came to him in the stretch, he just put him away. I would prefer Good Magic to win simply because he won the Bluegrass here, but I think Justify is better right now. And I'm going to take another. I'm like you. I think you look for value inside the race, and a lot of times the two favorites, and Justify and Good Magic are going to be the 1 and 2 betting choices. There's no doubt about that. I think Quip, I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to 12-1. I think he's going to be the quote unquote wise guy horse, the new shooter, as it were. I think his race in the Arkansas Derby was not flattered by Magnum Moon coming back and not running well in the Kentucky Derby, but I think the Connections did a very wise thing. The horse wasn't ready to come back in 3 weeks from Arkansas to run the Kentucky Derby. They rested him. He's got 5 weeks off to take a look at this race. Got good positional speed. He's going to be in the mix. And I love Giroux. He's the only jockey that's ever ridden this horse. And I think Quip has got a shot to split the two favorites and break up the exacta. So I'm going to play a trifecta with some combination of those three horses with Justify on top, Good Magic, and Quip. I think my fourth choice in here would be Bravazzo, just because he's battle tested and he's not going to win the race. I would bet I would book any bets on him to win, but I wouldn't bet against him finishing third or fourth, just because I think he's got enough back class. He's shown he won the Risen Star, and he only got beat 8 lengths in the Derby after a terrible start, so he got within 8 lengths to Justify that day. So there's no reason why to think he can't get in the mix before. I think there's a couple of throwouts here. I don't like Tenfold or Sporting Chance or Diamond King at all. So I think that's the way I wound up with Bravazzo as my fourth choice. But I'm going to take Justify, hoping Quip and Good Magic maybe dead heat for second, and I hit the exacta a couple of ways.
Go back to the 10th race. Give me your pick 4 ticket.
All right, pick 4 ticket. It's pretty simple if it stays on the turf. 2, 4, 5, 9 in the first leg, and that's Heartwood, Louisfield, Switzerland, and Long Haul Bay. In the second leg, if it stays on the turf, I'm going to go 1, 7, 11, 12 with Chanteline, Girls Know Best, Smiling Causeway, and Just Talking. If it comes off the turf, I would add the 4, 5, 6 in there, and it becomes a more expensive ticket. In the 12th race, I go 1, 2, 6, 8, 11, so I'm 5 deep there, and that is Forest Fire, Pony Up, Dream Baby Dream, Axeman, and Title Ready. And then going to stand with the two horses that you're going to use in the Preakness, and that will be 5, 7, Good Magic, and Justify, and that's an $80 ticket.
I'm going to go 2, 5, 9 in the first leg, Heartwood, Switzerland, Long Haul Bay. I'm going to use all 5 that I mentioned in the second leg, Smiling Causeway, Just Talking, Girls Know Best, Chanteline, and Booze. So that's 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to use 3 horses in the Sir Barton, Axeman, Prince Lucky, and Dream Baby Dream. So that is 6, 8, and 10. And then Justify and Good Magic. I'm not going to single Justify because if he's lost anything off his fastball at all, then Good Magic could easily win this because Justify, he hasn't compressed as much into a short amount of time as Justify has, and I think that the chance that could catch up to Justify at some point, either this race or the next one, and Good Magic could still be trending upward with just his 4th start of the year. So I'm going to use both of those in the last leg. Best of luck with your wagers on the Preakness Day card. Some good stakes races around the country to also be taking a look at as you watch and wager through Keeneland Select on the card from Pimlico. Best of luck this weekend. This is the End of Money Podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.